In this video, we're going to be opening up, checking out the glorious Burning Godzilla and Mothra from Godzilla King of the Monsters, and doing some of the wackiest toy photography I think I've ever done. So, I've been on a little bit of a Godzilla kick recently. I don't know if you can tell, I hope you don't mind, but right now we've got count 'em, two Godzilla action figures, both made by HIYA Toys, and both ones I'm quite excited about. We've got the Burning Godzilla from King of the Monsters, and we've got Mothra from King of the Monsters, the beautiful and elegant Mothra. Honestly, I'm excited for both. I'm very excited for him, but I'm way more curious about Mothra. I'm really curious just to see, I don't know, like what kind of figure is a moth gonna be like, you know? And I'm curious to see what HIYA Toys does with that, because I am still quite a newbie when it comes to HIYA Toys. Also really excited for the toy photography that I have planned with these two figures, because I've got some pretty, I don't know, stupid ideas that I think will be really fun, so hopefully you stick around to the end for that. But anyway, I actually pre-ordered both of these figures from Entertainment Earth, my favorite place, and if you're not shopping on Entertainment Earth for all of your Godzilla needs, you better start doing that right away, because they've got a massive amount of Godzilla stuff, pre-orders, in stock stuff, tons of it on there, pretty much everything you could possibly want, especially HIYA Toys stuff. Make sure to use the link I've got in the description to grab yourself these guys or something else, plenty of other great ones, and use my discount code as well. Save yourself a couple bucks, and it helps me too, so thank you very much. And there's a lot on there. It's almost intimidating with how much stuff is available for Godzilla. By the way, if you're into Godzilla stuff, I just put out a couple great new videos about comparing HIYA Toys to SH Monster Arts, and of course some Godzilla buildings, and I've got a ton more stuff coming out soon, like the Super 7, Godzilla -1, I've got Ghidorah coming very soon, so much. So please, I recommend subscribing. Please do, helps me out quite a bit as well, and I promise you won't regret it. Thank you so much. So I'm still kind of a noob when it comes to the whole Godzilla stuff. Just this past year, with the release of really two awesome but incredibly different from each other Godzilla movies, I don't know, my fandom kickstarted for Godzilla a lot, and I've been watching as many older movies as I can recently. So please give me some recommendations of some Godzilla movies, some older ones, some newer ones that I should watch. Now I want to collect all the action figures too, naturally. Okay, so I usually don't bother with stands a whole lot with the figures unless I really need them, and obviously I think Mothra really needs her stand. Unless you'd just rather have her just be like this all the time. So let's see, how do we put this together? It's very simple, I'm assuming. Bigger end goes in here, nice. And if you notice, all of these little things have an H for HIYA Toys. I don't know if that's intended. I'm really struggling actually to figure out what these are for. What are these for? I guess the joke is on me. Haha! Okay, this is really cool because this stand doesn't have to be this tall. You can take this top part off and have it a little bit shorter, or even shorter, or even shorter. That is quite the little nub. I'm sure it still works great though.
It's not the size, mate. It's how you use it.
All right, so we should be able to just clip her on, just like that, and pinch the little thingies, and there she goes. She's leaning a little bit, but okay, so if I bend this a little bit back, then put her on, clip her in. Come on, Mothy. I mean, she's in there. She doesn't really stay in that well. What the, come on. There we go. Okay, now we've got her going. She's looking great. I was totally kind of talking crap about the nubby stand earlier just now, but it's actually kind of nice, and I'll probably be using this more for the review just because the fact that it's this low is actually very convenient. So anyway, Mothra, she looks great. I mean, those wings are really beautiful, like the colors, and there's texture on there. The paint is fantastic. Like, there's obviously a lot of work that just went into the detail in the paint. Honestly, that's probably the main focus of what you're gonna look at when you're looking at Mothra, so I understand why they would put time into making this look good, and it does look really good. I never noticed how much, really just like a little bug she looks like down here, and that's okay. She's got all these limbs down here which are articulated, except for the ones in the middle. These two over here are articulated. Can move those up a little bit. And these ones back here are as well. And you've got 4 articulated wings, not 2. Got these tiny little ones, and then you got the big ones here. The way you have the wings posed is really a big deciding factor on how she will be balanced on the stand. So if you ever find her kind of wobbling a little bit, just adjust the way you've got your wings, and then I think your problems will be solved. I'm really liking this figure. I don't have any, whoa. I feel like I don't have any kind of action figure similar to this, so this is actually really cool. I'm kind of having trouble like figuring out what to say. I'm not used to talking about moth figures. Also, I was not able to figure out what this H is for. HIYA Toys and Godzilla people, help me out. I even researched, and I don't know what it is. Somebody, come on. All right, time to open up Mr. Burning Godzilla over here. Let's see what this guy is all about. Wow, this guy is cool. Man, look at this paint. He looks absolutely fantastic. Wow, okay, actually, you know what I'm noticing? I actually thought there was gonna be a lot more of a kind of translucent plastic going on, like especially on his spikes and stuff, but there's not. It's just so incredibly well painted, so it looks like that. Like it looks like he's clear and it's got translucency going on, but he actually doesn't. As far as I can tell, it's just painted that well. Wow, that's really cool. I also have spent way too much time messing around with my fire effect on all of my loom cubes to get this just really cool looking Burning Godzilla burning up. He's so cool. Like, how freaking cool is this? So I got a lot of comments in my last video about, with articulation, saying that I should have blow dried it first. Fresh out the box, HIYA Toys are stiff. So I have done just that to see if articulation really is better. And I didn't think it was bad or anything, but one of the things I said it didn't have was much torso. Okay, there's a little bit more. Not a whole lot. I mean, I can bring it down like 1 degree. Hey! But that's about it. I don't think the blow dryer did a whole lot. The articulation was, oh, okay. I can get a bit more neck movement out of that. Definitely does help, for sure. I mean, blow drying, hot water always helps with loosen up the joints a little bit. So yeah, the figure's gorgeous. It's really cool. The paint is just exceptional. So incredibly cool to look at. Just the way it kind of gradients really from the bottom to, oh, do you have something to mention?
I like how he looks like fire.
Yes, me too. Cool. All right, well, thanks, babe. But anyway, there's kind of like a nice gradient of dark up to brighter towards the spikes, and that just looks really nice. And there's even, I love the detail on his face. If you look close on his face, he's got a much more orangey mouth, like he just ate a bunch of pumpkins, or I don't know, he's got a milk mustache, but with orange juice. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Ate a bunch of pumpkins. What am I talking about? Okay, here's this. He ate a bunch of Cheetos, and now he's got an orangey mouth. And it's fall, I guess I've got pumpkins on the mind. Even his little tongue is totally orange. That is awesome. It's like Ed, Edd and Eddy, where they all have different colored tongues. So here he is compared to the Godzilla HIYA figure I reviewed in the previous video. This is the Godzilla vs. Kong. And they're essentially, as far as I can tell, please correct me if I'm wrong, they're the same exact figure, but with a little bit of different paint, obviously, which is fine. I don't honestly know what else there would be as far as like a sculpt or something, but with this one I was a little critical of how boring the paint was, and then I quickly learned otherwise, that there's just other better painted ones available, and this is clearly a very different type of paint, but it does certainly look better for sure, and I love that. So if you are interested more about like the articulation and more about the sculpt and stuff like that with this figure, head to that other video I mentioned earlier in this video. It's all linked in the description. Here he is compared to the NECA one too, by the way, which obviously a little bit smaller, but by the way, I did get a new one of the NECA because I had accidentally burnt the mouth of my other one in that other video, so I did find a new one for actually pretty cheap, 10 bucks. On Whatnot. Heck yeah, can't beat that. Okay, well, I think both of these figures are super cool. I'm just really excited kind of about the Mothra one, just because it is such a different kind of action figure for me, and it was a lot of fun messing with it. I think these are both W's. Do you think it's a W, or an L, or an M for mid? Do you think it's just an M for mid because it's just a repaint. With repaints this cool, I mean, come on, it's a total W. It's so cool. So let me know in the comments, what do you think, W or L or M? Let me know. Okay, well, this is a shooting and reviewing video, so what do you say we get some stuff set up? Like I said, I've got some pretty wacky ideas for this video, and I'm a little excited, so let's go. All right, so I've got a really weird thing going on right now. So yeah, when you look at it, you've got Godzilla in a cardboard city. And yes, I made this cardboard city. And if you watched that last video and you're like, wait, didn't you spend like hundreds of dollars on those buildings? Well, yes, and I made cardboard ones. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to go for something really homemade, tangible, fake, toy-like going on. And so, I don't know, this is what I've got going on. This is just my idea. I cut out a bunch of buildings out of this box right here, and I found this little hole puncher, which is actually holding up a building right now. Hole puncher punches perfect little squares in all of these buildings. And so it was really easy. It didn't take me that long to put this together. So once I had the buildings, I wanted to make them look damaged. So I went out in my shed and I burnt them up a little bit. I kind of set it up in like a test formation to try to burn the right things because I wanted everything to be burned around Godzilla. So I set it up, did a test kind of shot, and then just burned them. And then I put the fires out and I brought it back inside, and now we have this going on right here. And so this is what it looks like in camera. And it looks kind of cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it looks cool. Obviously it looks very fake and it looks like it's made out of cardboard and it's on my counter, but that's kind of what I'm going for here. So that's really it. And it took me a while just to kind of set everything up perfectly. So one of the things too is at first I kind of thought it'd be cool to have these little clips to hold them up because it would look more fake, but now I don't really like that, so I'm probably just gonna remove all of those in Photoshop. I really just kind of made the lighting focus on Godzilla, and that's it, and then hopefully have some of the lights kind of fall through and pass through the little squares, and I think that is kind of working in camera too, which is pretty cool. So I'm probably gonna take a couple of shots, one of them using some atmosphere aerosol, just to get a little bit of, you know, smoke, fog kind of thing going on. And then I'm gonna hold up one of my loom cubes here, just right above his head to get some rim lighting right on the top of Godzilla's head. So my shutter speed is at 100 right now. I don't really need anything really fast happening to capture any action or anything, so it works great with my lighting. And my aperture's at 3.2. It's still a pretty low aperture, and I kind of want that because I do still want this to feel fake and toy-like. So the 3.2 is working great, and I can get enough buildings in. Oh, well then. Always have extra batteries. And so my aperture is at 3.2 and my ISO is at 400. I pretty much leave it there all the time. Man, the more I look at this, it feels kind of like very World War II-ish. Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know why, but I mean, it makes sense with Godzilla, right? All right, I'm gonna spray some stuff and get some lights and take this photo. So let's go and do it. Okay, so my next and final wacky photo of this video is all set up. We've got Mothra and we've got a bug zapper. And like a moth to flame, I don't know, I honestly, like, I feel like I'm insecure about coming up with serious ideas, so I just come up with jokey ideas, and that's where this comes from. I don't know, but it kind of looks cool, to be honest. I was hoping I could find one of these that was smaller on Amazon, but this was I think the smallest one I could find. And in camera, it kind of looks kind of cool, I think. It's probably hard to see here, but if you're interested in what's going on with these buildings and all of this, I made a whole video on all of these buildings and where to get them. I'll have that linked in the description, of course. And of course, all of the lights I'm using and all of the gear I'm using is all linked in the video description. I'll even put this in there in case anyone wants to try this. I just set everything up here. I put a little black poster board, put some loom cubes here. I actually put another blue light behind it because this thing actually wasn't strong enough. I think I'm gonna also hold this up too for a shot, just so I can get a little more light onto Mothra, just so she obviously stands out and looks good in the photo. Then also, just like with the other photo, I'm gonna use some atmosphere aerosol and get a little bit of fog in there. And of course, this is linked in the description too, and I've got discounts for this, I've got discounts for the lights, everything. All the stuff I use, it's always linked in there. Come on, you know. So for my settings, I've got 160 for my shutter speed. It's a little bit faster. And I've got f1.8 this time, just because I really was feeling like the background was gonna look kind of lame. So the more I blurred it out, I feel the better it was looking. And so my ISO is at 400. Also, all right, let's go and take this shot and hope that Mothra does not get zapped. Let's go. I am absolutely so happy with both of these figures. I think they're easy W's, and they were quite inspiring with helping me figure out weird toy photo ideas for them. Make sure to head to the Entertainment Earth link and use my discount code below to pick up some of these fantastic HIYA Toys figures. And these photos here will be posted on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter as well. Make sure to follow my work over there as well. And if you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.